Hello. Just got a quick little bonus episode of Doctor Who in. It's not got Hartnell in this one, and we continue our story of the Meddling monk. And while I was watching it, I was having further thoughts about what I was saying last time, which was all about how I feel as if the show has kind of grown a little. And something about this episode kind of confirmed that for me, which was it feels as if, obviously, this is the first pseudo historical, which is what the historicals will become, which is you take a historical setting and use it as an excuse to show off your clever BBC sets and costumes, but throw the sci-fi element at it, which is what Doctor Who will become synonymous for. So that's fine, we accept that, there's no problems with that at all. However, there's something strange about, because William Hartnell's in this episode, the Doctor's not in this episode, our change in the environment. The Doctor comes along and he provides a change in the environment, and being a change in the environment, that's what makes the drama. Hartnell's not in this episode. We've got our new companions, they're all working quite well, and all is okay. I'm going to have to stop just a second. Give me back again. There's something strange about the Meddling monk and the way he affects the programme in this episode. It kind of warps. I started to sound like Philip Sandifer, and that's just rude because he's far better at this than I am. But he kind of warps the tone of the programme. He kind of makes friction and drama happen, which is what the Doctor does invariably. But and it's just interesting that the programme's starting to push at the edges a little bit. It does it in such a low-key way. That's what I really like about this story. It doesn't try too hard at all. Dennis Spooner's writing some really sharp dialogue. Peter Purves and Maureen O'Brien are sparking off each other really nicely. It's very important they do because Hartnell's not there. The whole stuff about the villagers and the Vikings, we get a Viking raid, is nicely handled. You've got that strange things that happens in historical Doctor Who whereby the tone suddenly goes whoa. I mean, there's an implied rape in this episode. My goodness, I don't think that ever happens in Doctor Who again, ever. And poor Edith is catatonic after something happening, which you can only assume is a rape. And that's the nature of historical Doctor Who stories. They have these weird shifts in tone, especially when Dennis Spooner's writing them. But it's whenever the monks, especially the early part of the episode, there just seems to be some tension. That's where the drama starts being created in the discrepancy between this setting and I'm not talking about the obvious things. I'm not talking about the record player being there. That's overplayed. We see that record player so many times. After a while, you just start thinking, "Yeah, we get the record player." I'm not talking about the at the start. He's making breakfast. There's an electric toaster. There's a kettle. There's God knows what else. I'm not talking about that. It's just his presence. That's where the excitement happens. That's where the electricity starts sparking around. And of course you get it to a lesser extent with companions. You get it to a lesser, I mean, these two companions, they're from the far future. That's irrelevant. They could be from our time, but they're in the past. And that discrepancy, they're not quite as good as handling it, and there's the monk, confident as anything, swanning through situations, being not in control, but one step ahead. And it's got less to do with the fact that, well, we don't know who he is. Let's not go there now. But I just think that's very interesting. I've not really talked about much about this episode, have I? There's something sparky happening here. There's some big conscious or unconscious change to Doctor Who that occurs at this point. At the end of season 2. It's good. I'll stop now. I'll stop.